3 reasons why men don't dance and why they want to. With more and more studies coming out about the benefits of dance, what is it that still prevents men from actually dancing? Now, obviously there are male dancers. I am one of them. But I'm talking about straight men who are not professional dancers, who even at parties won't even do a little wiggle. So first reason is they don't want to look stupid. I've heard this many times that I'm not afraid to dance, I just don't want to look dumb. If I'm gonna dance, I want to do something cool. Teach me one move that can just be my one party trick. So yeah, I completely get that. I think that's when men have a tendency to perform, to feel the need to perform, and of course to do it perfectly. Author Liz Plank and the famous therapist Esther Perel one time did a social experiment of just asking men around the world, what is the hardest part about being a man? For the most part, the men's never thought about that. Whereas usually for women, it's oh my God, let me tell you the hardest part about being a woman. But what they found, the unifying theme, the hardest part about being a man is other men. And that comes with so many nuances. And one big level of that is performance. You're performing strength. You're performing power. You're performing confidence. You're performing masculinity. In breaking, there's a joke that it's similar to going to gyms that, you go to gyms to work out, to get the ladies, you go to learn breaking, to get the girls, but you end up just getting other sweaty bros. It ends up being impressing, performing for other men. And because of this tendency to perform, if you don't have the skill set for it, if you don't have the confidence for it, you don't know for sure that you're gonna blow up the crowd and impress everybody, then might as well not do it. Why take that risk, right? So then you don't dance. It's an all or nothing kind of approach, and that's a very valid response to what they might have experienced, or even the current environment, even the party itself. Maybe because some of those people you don't fully trust, that they will make fun of you. There's very valid reasons. It makes us feel like we have to perform. It makes us feel like we have to be perfect, and that makes us not want to dance. And so conversely, in environments where we feel free to make mistakes, what if the point is to be silly and be stupid? Depends on the parties, but usually it's just about people grooving, having fun, and enjoying the moment. In my experience as a dance facilitator for an Asian men's group, I've seen it when men really just let themselves feel free. It is just all about us moving together, grooving together, having fun, building camaraderie together. And that's so beautiful to witness. Second reason is they don't want to look gay. I'm not kidding, they don't. There's this one after-school program I taught for an elementary school one time. I was teaching hip-hop dance, Hip-hop dance is supposed to be cool. And for the second week there, I noticed that this kid was sitting at the tables instead of joining us. So I was like, hey, aren't you here for dance? I saw you last week. Why don't you come and join us? And he said, my dad said dance is not for boys, so I can't join. The year was 2024. So this directly ties to what we define as masculine and feminine. And it makes sense that a lot of street dances that are really masculine, such as breaking and crump and popping, which are hard-hitting, hard things, strong, power, then those have a lot of men doing it. There is another dance within street dance or club dances called punking or whacking that was created by gay men and other queer folks. And it was all about power and striking with force. So it has the qualities that we would think of for masculinity, but because it is practiced and came from queerness, that we don't associate it, that straight men do not gravitate towards it and even avoid it. Now, over the years, I've asked many dance friends why they started dancing. I'm that type of friend who just likes to pop in with the deep questions like, why do you dance? Why do you dance? Why do you dance? A generalized, summarized answer for why men explore dances that might not seem masculine is curiosity. No matter the masculinity, femininity of the dance, I want to know what it feels like to be that liberated, to feel that joy, to be that dramatic and able to express myself in ways that I haven't been able to before. I want to know how different my life would be if I can do that. It's that curiosity. So when we can overlook the homophobic element of this is not for me because of this and this and this, but rather I want to know what it feels like. I want to look cool. I want to be sexy. I want to have a supportive community, because ultimately we're just human and we all embody qualities that's both feminine and masculine. And when we allow ourselves to fully feel and express everything that's part of us, that sense of liberation draws people in and grips you, and so you never stop dancing, and then suddenly you spend all your money. Anyway, all right, this is the last and final part. This last one. Men don't dance because men don't believe they deserve that joy. In the previous parts, I talked about the mental barriers that prevent men from dancing, even if they want to. And in my experience as a dance facilitator for an Asian men's group, I have found that men carry a lot of anger. Anger that often doesn't have a place to go. And so we hold it in our bodies. We do not express it. Because there are not a lot of healthy ways for men to express anger. Usually unprocessed anger comes out in violent ways, often towards women, queer folks, and kids, and ourselves. And especially for those who are careful, we are aware that male rage can be really harmful. And that's even more reason for us to not express our rage. When you have that much rage stored in your body, it blocks you from authentically connecting with other people. And that also blocks you from connecting with your joy and fully experiencing your joy. Oh my goodness, all these flies. But before we process that anger, we see men seeing dance, see it as joyful and liberating. And that's not a feeling I understand or resonate with. Maybe it's not a feeling that I have experienced before. I do not know what that feels like. And so I both fear it and I'm curious by it. Maybe we feel we do not deserve that joy because of the pain that we have caused, the pain that we have witnessed, enabled, or the pain that we have endured ourselves. It is pretty common for people who have been through different forms of trauma to not believe that they deserve joy and pleasure. I think then it makes sense with the male-dominated dances, and again, in my experience with street dances, such as breaking and crump, usually men intentionally or unintentionally use it as an avenue for their rage, because that's when they feel that it's okay to be seen in this way. And oftentimes once men are able to let all this anger out, then we find the deep underneath, the sorrow, the pain, the love, all the other emotions that we weren't able to feel because it has been buried by anger. So my job as a facilitator is to create these environments that allow people to feel whatever it is that they want to feel and be surrounded by people who see you, love you, and do not run away, even amidst all of that messiness and vulnerability that you are sharing. That rewires our reality, our brain, and suddenly we embrace that joy and pleasure and liberation and that sense of freedom, and we want to dance. What we create is an extension of who we are. So I fully believe that once we tap into that joy and fully allow ourselves to feel that joy, the world we create from there will be immensely beautiful and joyous. Thank you for listening through all this. Appreciate you holding space for me too.